DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the doorway or any exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and poof, power gone and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AZARD, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
The views and opinions expressed in this program were solely those of the participant or caller and do not reflect the views of WinFM 98.9. WinFM reserves the right to disconnect any caller who infringes the law or offends the right of any person. The station will also refuse to take any call from any person who, in WinFM's considered opinion, is likely to expose the station to liability for statements made on the air.
Lord, this can end in a serious dilemma. Now that the country been run by labor, this pure mayhem, scandal, disorder. With this Labour Party in power, is this a social club in disguise? Or some kind of criminal enterprise? What a menace to society this administration turning out to be. The PM got a so-called advisor, telling people how to get away with murder. It's non-stop attack on the treasury, paper daddy and man mixari. This Labour bunch right to the core, lacking integrity, that's for sure. Economists all hard life crippling, we a collective menace, menace to society. It's like it's all cheap and no Indian. It's like lunatics running the asylum without a plan, ideas or structure. It's the people who left to suffer. No pop, no peace, pay unemployment. No money for bills, much less enjoyment. Total advantage, that's we fake under these enemies of the state. AAG, Nanicate lawyer, he really a pamba plain labor third politician now for sure. Going from door to door in number 4, law and order not a priority. No one in charge of the nation's safety. DAD join the cult and the greedy. He just a menace to society. Government buildings, well then the worst. We infrastructure seem like it costs. Electricity and water walk with the moon. Every month you hear the fix coming soon. Under labor life for this pure misery. Oppression, depression and tyranny. This gang is a menace to society. Life in SKN, this ain't no joke. Like the whole country going up in smoke. While Mr. Smiley and 10 money one busy fighting, jockeying for position. Lord have mercy upon all of we with this menace to society. Government buildings, well then the worst. We infrastructure seem like it costs. Electricity and water up with the moon. Every month you hear the fix coming soon. Under labor life for this pure misery. Oppression, depression and tyranny. This gang is a menace to society. On SKN, this ain't no joke. Like the whole country going up in smoke. While Mr. Smiley and 10 money one busy fighting, jockeying for position. Lord have mercy upon all of we with this menace to society. Society, them are enemies of the state. Lord have mercy, under the weight of the lies, they need their honor show. They got to go, they got to go. These menace to society, them are enemies of the state. Lord have mercy, under the weight of the lies, they need their honor show.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening to everyone. I wish everyone happy Mother's Day, those mothers celebrating out there. It is an international day where we celebrate women who contribute to the household, who contribute to families. So happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the region and international. Of course, I am your host, AZARD, GUMBS, Deputy Political Leader of the People's Action Movement and Attorney at Law. And welcome to another episode of Unfiltered, where we discuss issues relating to national importance in St. Kitts and Nevis. We are here this evening, and with me in studio is our guest. We have Jeffrey Marisha. You know, DJ Marisha has his popular podcast, and whereby he speaks about the issues facing St. Kitts and Nevis. This evening, on Unfiltered, we will hold power to account and speak true to the issues that matter most to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. As citizens grow increasingly concerned about the direction of our nation, we dive deep into 6 critical pillars shaping the future of our federation here this evening. We will begin with governance and accountability. Has the promise of transparency been fulfilled? Or has it been buried under excuses and political spin? We will then examine the economy and the costs of living, as families continue to feel the squeeze of high prices while asking where the nation's wealth, particularly from the citizenship by investment, is truly going. Next, we will assess the national projects and infrastructure, from roads to housing and hospitals. Are these projects meeting expectations? Or are delays and mismanagement costing taxpayers more than money? We will also turn our attention to healthcare and social services. In an era where health is paramount, are our people receiving the care and dignity they deserve from the public health system? We will also speak on the democratic front. We'll explore constitutional reform and democracy. Is it time to update our laws and structures that govern us? And are citizens truly being heard in the process? Finally, we will discuss agriculture and food security, a sector often praised in speeches but neglected in action. Are we on the path to self-sufficiency or still overly dependent on imports? This evening, as I said, I am your host, AZARD GUMBS, and with me in studio is DJ Marisha, Jeffrey Marisha. Good evening, Mr. Marisha. How are you doing this evening?
Good evening, Mr. GUMBS. I'm doing well. Thanks for the invitation. I've been here at WIN before, at a different time. I think it was back in 2020. I want to say happy Mother's Day to the mothers as well. And congratulations to you and your program. Did not know you was a disc jockey. I understand you was an attorney at law.
Yes, I am a man who juggles many hats. I try to, as much as possible, do what I can and make sure my voice is heard, as this is really trying times here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay, so.
Yes. So, DJ, as I said before, you have your own popular podcast. You are live and you speak about the issues facing St. Kitts and Nevis. I know during the last time, during the general elections, you were very, very instrumental lending your voice to the administration now in power. And although you would have lent your voice to the administration in power, you over the time, based on what I have noticed, you continue to lend your voice on issues of national importance, whereby you feel that the government may not have been doing what they ought to have done or what they said. You continue to be a man of principle, keeping their feet to the fire. And that is why the first leg that we're going to discuss is one of governance and accountability. Do you feel that currently that here in St. Kitts and Nevis there's the good governance agenda that is so touted by these politicians? Do you think that is happening? And do you think that persons are keeping the government accountable?
Well, in terms of the good governance agenda, that is one of the campaign slogan, and I think part of the manifesto of the now Labour administration, which I champion, that as you said, I campaign on. And they went into parliament. I'm hoping, I'm trying not to use my words that I use on my podcast.
Yes. Parliament.
Parliament.
Yes.
Right. Taking it to Parliament.
Yes.
However, honestly, I cannot see the delivery in terms of the good governance agenda.
Yes.
Because we're speaking about freedom of information, integrity. The government that now step it up enough to get the real information. There's too many heard that you take up my car from down by TDC.
Like you and myself and others, try to keep them accountable. Is this an administration, and does the supporters of this administration really want persons to keep this administration accountable? Just this morning, DJ, I saw that a fake page was speaking about you just because you continue to keep the government accountable. The fake page made mention of you only supporting the Labour Party because you want to, what they like to say in the fake page, they say you want to suck the government's breasts. And so what is your view on this when things like this are being said about you?
Well, I have always believed that the fact that I am on a public platform, Facebook, YouTube, people would have their opinion. An opinion is something that people think it's free. Your opinion, it have penalties to it if you want to go down a certain road. But someone forwarded me that information this morning,
Yes.
and when I look at it, I laugh to myself, because the reality is, if there's anyone in St. Kitts currently
Yes.
that support Prime Minister Joe, without a shadow of a doubt, is DJ Marisha.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that I'm not supposed to let him know where I might see things going wrong. Currently, there's a situation that has been brewing for the last couple of months.
Yes.
And the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, they have to understand that not because you support a political party or an individual, you're supposed to be blind when the country is being betrayed or when things are going the wrong way. We invite citizens into this country from other countries to be investors. I was not involved in the MSR saga
Yes.
in 21 when they came to Nevis. I wasn't involved in the MSR saga when they came down to St. Kitts following the election of 22.
Yes.
I, for the first time, got to know Mr. Martinez in August, I think, of 24, when I was doing a live, and I made a statement that someone in Nevis put in my thread.
Okay, so I'm being told that this sound is an issue, so I encourage persons to stay tuned. We're sorting out the issue, so it's back up now. So, as again, just for persons who might have missed it, and I want to go through it, persons like yourself and I, we speak about matters, the unfulfilled promises of the Labour administration and keeping them accountable. But it seems as though that when persons try to keep this administration accountable, there is these social media fake pages of supporters, I assume, of the Labour administration that tend to come after individuals like yourself and myself that keep this administration accountable or help to keep this administration accountable. What do you say to that?
And like I was explaining a minute ago, anyone that knows who DJ Marisha is and where I'm at would have understand that I only get caught up in this political arena from 22 when the former Team Unity administration dealt with the COVID matter in a way that I did not approve of, got locked down in quarantine and decided to use the time to update the people and whatever the case might be. What I do on a weekly basis on a Wednesday is the people's business. It is not Marisha's business. And the situation is that you ask about the good governance agenda. That is something that was top on our agenda during the campaign.
Yes.
And I know that the Labour administration went into Parliament and they enacted those things, freedom of information and integrity in public life and stuff like that. And the situation is that you ask the question whether or not if I think that these things are taking place. And
Yes.
itself will get these attacks because the citizens of this country, locally, regionally, internationally, they are really not up to date with facts. I can assure you, if the citizens was up to date with facts, people such as myself who have the facts, who have dug deep and get the information, will not be attacked.
But even so, I mean, there was, for example, there are so many unfulfilled promises by this administration. When we look at even the PAP, where they talked about increasing it to 1,500, where they talk about CBI dividends, they talk about, you know, a better standard of living, so to speak, if you hold it as a whole. What we have seen is the increase in salaries by government ministers, cabinet ministers, and what we have seen is increased traveling. Lot of persons on the ground, they're not satisfied by the performance of the Labour administration. And persons like you, I mean, would speak on issues that I would think they would listen to, address, and try to come better.
And it's really sad when you point out that with the PAP and stuff like that, because yes, during the campaign, the clips are out there, everything was videotaped. As a matter of fact, I can recall a gentleman who was high up during the campaign told me there in George Street in your town, he said, boy, Marisha, I'm glad that you're recording all of these things because when the time come, they can't say they did not say this. We got to hold their foot to the fire. And the PAP situation, I have said to the Prime Minister privately, and I have said it publicly on my podcast, and I'll say it here right now. When you're outside campaigning as an opposition, you really do not know what you're going to meet when you get inside there. So when you get inside there and you do your assessment, I have said to the Prime Minister previously, whatever you find, come to the public and let the public know the situation. Because if you don't do that within a 3-month period, the problem becomes your problem.
Yes.
So you have to do your assessment, whatever it is, you come and speak to the public. And if you keep the public updated regularly, you would not have this kind of problem we are having now.
What I'm dissatisfied about is the fact that you cannot seem to speak on issues, and when I say you, not just you, persons like myself, other persons, they are so afraid to speak on issues. I am not afraid. I continue to speak on issues as they present themselves. But there are persons who are afraid because we have an administration. It's as though if you don't agree what they're doing, the level of tax countless, you understand? And so is that true democracy? Is that true accountability? Does this government, in your view, promote the good governance that they so spoke about during the campaign? And are they giving persons avenues to make them accountable?
Well, what I would respond to that one with is this. That is left to be seen, because not too long ago, there was some situation that take place in our beloved federation where there was individual showing their disgust with ministers of the government via their social media pages, crying out. And our AG went into Parliament and ridiculed the people and talking about what charges could become against them. They could take away their equipment, they could take away their phones, and even if they're overseas, they can bring them home, extradite them for charges and stuff like that. What is funny, after hearing that some months ago, I spoke about it on my podcast as well. Mm-hmm. When I received that message this morning that someone who is attached or some fake page for the Labour Party is attacking me and accusing me of being a mercenary, as I said before, if this is the way you be a mercenary, then they need to change the definition.
Yes.
Because I don't think there's no one in this federation, locally, regionally, internationally, support the Prime Minister as I do. Mm-hmm. I have stand guard and make sure that he's not affected and this country is not affected. Mm-hmm. And people coming at me not going to stop me from doing what I am doing, because I'm going to be honest and true to the people. The situation now, I have a question for the AG and for the Prime Minister. I want to see them show their leather. I want to see them show me the way they're that serious about these kind of attacks on social media. Because if you go and you check the Prime Minister Facebook page, that malignment, that mercenary is right there on the Prime Minister's page. Mm-hmm.
But you see, I'm DJ. I mean, you're being very diplomatic. For me, we know where the Prime Minister, he speaks about SKN Times. At one time in his press conference, the round table, whatever he calls it, he spoke about unofficial media houses. He spoke about all of these social media pages, so to speak, like SKN Times. And here we have it. If he's going to speak about that social media page, and perhaps he feels as though that social media page does not support him, and maybe that's why he has the energy to speak about that page. But there's many social media pages where they are unofficial pages. No one knows who runs them. They don't disclose their identity. And so if he's a prime minister talking about official media sources and encouraging people to get official media sources, then he too should also admonish those social media pages that support him, that are undercover in terms of identity. And so that lies the hypocrisy, I find, within the Prime Minister.
Yeah, like I said, it's left to see what happened between now and Wednesday, because, as I said, for myself, after that link was sent to me, I went and checked his page, and it's attached to his page. So is whether or not he's going to come out and admonish that individual, or whether or not he's going to leave it there and agree. And then we will take it to the next level. Because DJ Marisha is on the host bar. You guys shouldn't. Yes. You know what I mean? You know, I am very surgical with my response. I hear people saying, why Marisha quiet, you're not saying anything. Patience. Mm-hmm. I am very surgical with everything that I do. I am not going to do anything that's going to create any kind of anxiety for the government or for the country. And
even if they create anxiety for you.
I am not going to do it. I am not going to react. I am not someone who is reactive. I am someone who is very proactive. Mm. And going after the Prime Minister or the government is going to affect the country. Mm. The things that I know Brother AZARD, and I'm not the only person that knows. The things that I know, the average citizen in St. Kitts and Nevis does not know it. The government knows it. They knows it. So people who attack me, I will not even take it personal because they really do not know better. Now, if that's the road they want to continue down, it's up to them. There's an election around the corner. We are closer to an election than governance. So if they don't listen now and address these issues, the good governance agenda, speaking to the people, educating the people, being honest and upfront and open with the people, then many of the things that I know that is very disgusting and disturbing, the average person, the right-thinking people, doesn't matter who you support, not going to like it.
Well, I must say, your level of composure, and I mean, even with these pages coming after you calling you a mercenary and stuff like that, and you're saying that you still support the Prime Minister, we know that the Prime Minister brought an action against a private citizen for claims of defamation. And I mean, if they're calling you someone who, whichever page is doing this is calling you a mercenary, I mean, you are exercising, in my view, some level of much more. I want to be very careful with my words. I saying that you have perhaps a broader back than maybe those persons who serve in government now.
Well, you got to understand this, brother Gums, is this. When I saw that demand letter and whatever from the Prime Minister in regards to Ms. Franks, I do not know who Ms. Franks is, never met her in my life. And I advised the Prime Minister to, through my podcast, to let those things take care of themselves and focus on the country's business. I didn't give all of my advice to the Prime Minister, I kept some for myself. And if there's a need to deal with anyone in a legal way, you're going to take funds to do that. I don't have that kind of money to go throw around there because somebody called me a mercenary. You understand? I have more important things to address, to deal with. And as I said, this individual that is out there calling me a mercenary. I would prefer if they call me a mercenary by myself, but when they're going to mix me with other people, it's a problem because there's nobody like DJ Mawisha. There's only one DJ Mawisha, right? And why I can't give respect to the Prime Minister is because the Prime Minister gives respect to me. When I communicate with the Prime Minister, I have WhatsApp here that he responds to me. Jeff Roy, Mr. Mawisha, whatever.
Well, let's hope he responds to you.
No, what I'm saying to
clears
you.
the air with those sort of allegations of mercenary action, so to speak.
Mr. Gums, I could show you my phone right here now. I mean, I can show you up to Friday.
Yes.
The Prime Minister and I communicated on a matter. And he said to me, sorry, you get caught up in this stuff.
Yes.
It is not like the Prime Minister is not aware of the ongoing situation and my assistance in trying to save the country from the embarrassment that we are dealing with.
Yes.
And as I said, for me, if I was reactive like some of these ministers of government, I would have gone live this morning. My Zoom page is a paid page monthly.
Yes.
My Facebook, you guys should know that I pulled my switch in a minute. But when I read that stuff, I laughed to myself. I said, the Prime Minister knows better. The government knows better. So if anybody really wants to entertain this kind of stuff, what I want to believe is either someone trying to throw some cloud distortion in what is really taking place, and I become the fall guy. Because I remember just about maybe 2 weeks ago on my page, I spoke about a small crowd that could fit on that 20 by 20 tent in St. Paul's. That went viral.
Yes.
And since then, there are several other people that have been calling me, telling me that all the other meetings was the same. A 20 by 20.
Some said 5 by 5. Would you say?
And my good partner there, Dr. Douglas, I mean, I didn't expect him to even mention my name come Labor Day March. And he came after me telling me that it was a big crowd. Then it's a small crowd.
Yes.
I spoke about it on my podcast on Wednesday. And I was very disappointed when I went and did my assessment and found out that they use these little kids to magnify their size of their crowd.
But
by
to be
putting them in
fair,
front.
they've always used little kids using your terminology to magnify their crowds. The only difference is that their crowd has gotten smaller year by year, and this is perhaps the smallest crowd that they've had.
Yes, but I just got into it. I think this is my second year going to the march, and this is my first year actually paying attention to what's taking place.
Because I could recall several years ago when the then Prime Minister would have talked about the pom-pom girls.
Okay.
You understand? And being the label them at.
Well, it's the first time I found out that the pom-pom girls have to pay a $20 registration fee. So I have a problem with it.
So they had to pay
A $20 registration fee.
Oh Lord, that's a burden on the parents.
Correct. Because the bands on the road, the sound system on the road, they were paid. The bands over in Patsialo's field, they was paid. The vendors on the field, they paid to use the slots. These pom-pom girls should be given a stipend, not pay a $20 registration fee.
And it was a hot day.
So my thing is, like I said, I've heard Dr. Douglas said it. I've heard the Prime Minister said it. I have heard many people say it. Nobody just throws stone off a tree with just leaves. You got to have some ripe fruits.
Yes.
So it got to be that I am striking a nerve with my conversation and my podcast for people to be coming at me, calling me a mercenary. But I am far from that, because I know it might be hard for some people to understand, because people ask me the question, Mauricio, how could you still support the Prime Minister?
And that is the question in my mind. How can you, given all that is happening, all that has not happened?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You're part of the PAM party.
The People's Action Movement.
People Action
yes.
Movement. Your leader was Sean K. Richards.
Yes.
Your leader was getting some knockabout from the former Prime Minister, Timothy Harris. Yet he kept his promise. What was the result of that promise? He called him Momo Sean. If the Prime Minister doctored you, they call me Momo Marisha, I'll be capable and ready to respond to him with that. So I can support Prime Minister Jew because I have dealt with him on a one-on-one. I know what he's dealing with. I understand there's a divide. They could deny it as much as they want. From the time they had that leadership election campaign, that party has been divided and is still divided. And the country is paying a price for it.
We can see that it's divided. We could see based on their inability to keep their promises, their inability to even function within their ministries. In fact, all of the ministries seem to be failing. Every ministry is underwhelmingly not performing. I mean, you look at all the ministries and you wonder if it is that these ministers are even focused on the work ahead of them. It's sad.
It was said to me by a minister, former cabinet member, that the civil service is different to the private sector. And though I know that, I didn't realize that it is this serious. Because a lot of the issues that is taking place now, Mr. Gums, I don't know if you have taken the time out to look into it. There are some individuals who are PSs from the former Team Unity administration. They are still functioning within this administration. They are sabotaging in a lot of ways. I have that fact. I know that for a fact. And for the life of me, I don't understand why it take this government almost 3 years and people are still there. Even up to this morning, people calling me complaining that they don't understand that under a Team Unity administration, they had to go through all of this issue, not getting appointed, not getting benefits, and now their own Labour Party that they've campaigned and fight for, they're still getting the same licks because those PSs still there doing their stuff.
That's interesting, because I know that there are some PSs who are under the Team Unity PAM administration who have been sent home on long leave.
That too.
And basically twiddling their thumbs being paid. And to me, so it is interesting to see that there are, as you said, some persons there. For me, I don't think that if you get in power, I mean, if there are some persons frustrating the will of the administration and to do good for the people, I understand whereby you have to make some adjustments. But if there are persons who are qualified, not because they serve or support a particular party other than the one that you are in, means that they should be removed. And so there must be some balance in effect. But say that too, there are some persons in the labor camp with their allegations of corruption.
Yes. And what is funny this right now, Brother Gums, is this. If it was just the opposition complaining about the situation, you could say peace. But there are labor stalwarts. The people that are complaining to me are strong-bone, hardback labor supporters.
And I think the labor political match they had just recently is a litmus test to show the appetite of their supporters for their own party. The fact that they had to go through and do so many public meetings. And, you know, back in the day, when they had their public meetings to rally up the crowd, it was large. As you indicated, they could fit under a 20 by 20 tent now. So it shows them that their support is waning. Their own supporters are not satisfied with their performance. And so it is a wake-up call. It must be a wake-up call for Dr. Jew, who's the Prime Minister. I have said this before. Dr. Jew inherited a strong party. The Labour Party has a lot of supporters, generally speaking. And Dr. Jew, under his leadership, has basically crumbled the strong base and foundation that the Labour Party had. While in government, not opposition. The Labour Party isn't in opposition. If they were in opposition, I could understand the waning support. But this is a party that has a large number of supporters in government as we speak. And now, when they are trying to attract a crowd, it is hard for them to do so. And one must speak to their leader, their leadership, and of course their performance.
Well, AZARD, I didn't come here to mince word with you, And your opinion a while ago that Dr. Jew received a strong Labour Party, I'm going to disagree with you. I am of the view that Dr. Jew received the weakest Labour Party ever.
Okay.
And that stems from that leadership campaign. That destroyed the backbone, the structure of Labour. Mm-hmm. It weak from then. The Labour Party did not win an election because they went out to win an election. It was hand-given to them.
By default.
By default.
By basically the destruction of the team unity arrangement.
Basically, federal elections was about, I think, maybe 3 months following the leadership of the Labour Party.
Yes.
And it was fractured. I listened to people telling me they're not going to vote, they're not going to this, they're not going to that. I had to spend sleepless nights convincing people that if you're not going to vote for this candidate, how you expect to get into government? Mm-hmm. If you stay home and you don't vote, which means you're leaving it open for the party with a base to win. Okay?
Yes.
So the situation is the Labour that we know. Mm-hmm. And that's why Dr. Douglas could have said when he looked at the end of his hand, he could see people up to the bridge, because that is what it used to be. That is when the Labour Party was together.
So he's still reminiscing on
those days. So I don't hold it against Doug. I just said to him, if you're making a joke,
yes,
this is not the time to joke.
Exactly.
I'm very serious about my thing.
Because the reason why it's not the time to joke is because we have felt a lot of